I decided to also find out what they have to say about the Boankraa project, which is a major project. It's been a dream of,
for a long time.
For a long time.
That was Ghana's first inland port.
Yes,
right?
Ghana's first inland port. And the people of the Ashanti region, Otumfuo himself has made this a legacy project. Yeah. He was at the sword cutting, in 2020. So I decided to look into that project because for this, that they are quick to praise themselves, even for monodesk, jerseys, security posts and all of that. So when they don't talk about something, you have to get suspicious and look into it. So I decided to do some digging. And what I'm discovering, Doc, is most shocking. So on the 18th of August 2020, Parliament passed a resolution. I have a copy here. The resolution was an approval for a build, operate, and transfer concessionary agreement between the government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Transport, Ghana Shippers Authority, and Ashanti Port Services Limited, a consortium of Afun Quality Limited, Ghana, and DSS Associates of South Korea, for an amount of up to 330 million United States dollars for the Boankraa inland port, which properly so-called is known as the Boankraa Integrated Logistics Terminal. So I decided to find out what the progress of work is. Then I realized that.
So which date again? So
this is 18 August. The approval was 14 August 2020. Mm-hmm. Then the clerk to Parliament communicated our approval on the 18th of August 2020.
So the approval was 14th of August
14th of August, yes.
Right.
Friday, 14th August 2020. Right. Now, you know that this government is prosecuting the Honorable Collins Dauda and others, Saglemi, that they, on their own, at their ministry, have varied the terms of a parliamentary approval, a parliamentary resolution.
Right.
This is such a violent violation, a mutilation of what has been approved. I have discovered that, contrary to this approval, the transport minister has handpicked a company unknown to the Ghanaian parliament, not part of this deal, called Jasmine Construction Limited. And whereas this was supposed to be a build, operate, transfer, meaning that the people will raise their own funding, complete this work in 3 years. So President Akufo-Addo at the sword cutting in 2020, 5th November 2020, told the Otumfuo, the people of Ashanti and the Ghanaian people, that by 2023, he will commission the Boankraa.
That would have been November 23.
Yes, November 2023, last year. And under the agreement, the consortium will operate for 30 years, and then it will become part of Ghana because they have to recoup their investment. So for BOT, we all know that you don't put in any state resource. The people go and the consortium go and find their own money. Only to discover that apparently on the blind side of Parliament, government resources have been going into this project. So the minister has handpicked a just more construction
just
company.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I need some clarity on the issue. With what Parliament approved,
yes,
was government expected to make any contributions, any monetary contributions, any financial contributions?
No, the consortium was to raise the funds. The 330
So government was not enjoined to provide some 10% or 5% or 1% of funding?
No, no. But I have now discovered that the minister, contrary to this parliamentary approval, asked the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, GPHA, to buy shares into the consortium, the Ashanti Ports Limited, the consortium.
Which was Afram and the Koreans?
Yes, Afram and the Koreans.
Okay.
And that share, the ordinary shares, the value is 33,300,000 United States dollars.
So So the ministry instructed GPHA,
yes,
a state agency, to go and buy shares.
Yes.
In that company.
Exactly. And I have the minister's letter here. And then I also have the share certificate. This is the share certificate that AP, as Ashanti Ports, handed over to Ghana Ports as evidence of the shares. Then, interestingly, when it comes to paying the money,
yes,
this $33 million, yes, the minister instructs that don't pay the money to the people who are giving you the certificate, the Ashanti Ports. Pay it to this company called Jasmine.
Why?
The company that he handpicked.
Why?
That they are going to do the actual construction. So pay them.
Okay, so let me understand something. You buy shares from a company.
Yes.
The company gives you a share certificate.
Exactly.
The company does not instruct you where to make the payment.
Yes.
But it's the minister who instructs you to make the payment somewhere else.
Exactly. And indeed, Ashanti Port Services Limited wrote a letter to GPHA cautioning them. This is the letter to the Director General that don't pay the money to Jasmo.
But how is Jasmo connected to the Ashanti Ports? Whatever?
So I have seen board minutes where everybody says we didn't bring Jasmo. It was instruction from above.
To bring them to do what?
To do the construction, preparatory works, rehabilitation, administration.
Are they bringing them as part of the...
As contractors.
Not as part of the company?
No.
You know, I want to understand something. Not as part of the company.
It initially began as though they were subcontractors.
Okay.
But then it didn't come from Ashanti Port. The concessionaires should have been allowed to choose their own.
By all the documentation that you have, Jasmo is not a shareholder in this company.
No.
GPHA bought shares in this company.
Yes.
Yet they paid the money to a subcontractor.
Yes.
And it was not on the advice of the company that sold the shares.
Exactly. Exactly.
Who asked them to pay the money to Jasmo?
The minister.
Where's the letter?
So let me. I'm building up. The more scandalous parts to this. So the money is paid to Jasmo. Ashanti Port continues to protest.
Written.
And it's here, the latest one, 28 August 2023. They are ignored. Then they decide that, look,
what they are protesting about what?
The payment to Jasmo, the fact that they have not authorized Jasmo to execute the project. And Jasmo has ignored them. They don't know what Jasmo is doing and all of that. Meanwhile, all the payments are going to... And they also found out that Jasmo has selected their own consultants. And the consultants had initially told them that the work that Jasmo has done should be $4 million. Suddenly they realized that they have raised certificates, and I have the certificates here. They've raised certificates totaling $36 million instead of $4 million. So these are the certificates. You have 22nd May 2023. This is for $6.4 million. Then there's this certificate for $22.3 million. And these are all our money, our taxes.
So who appointed Jasmo?
The minister.
As what? Contractor?
Yes. Yes.
But how is that possible?
So as the tussles continue, the Ashanti Port is protesting. They are writing to Ghana Ports. Then they decide to take Jasmo on. So they go to arbitration.
Okay.
And I have the arbitration documents here, where you see the Ghana Arbitration Center appointing the chair of the arbitration tribunal. They've started sitting, but they haven't delivered their final verdict here yet. Then there's this interesting letter signed by the minister. So as they go to arbitration, the wranglings continue. Jasmo writes to the minister seeking clarity. And the minister responds. This is the managing director, Jasmo Construction Limited. Termination of concession agreement, continuation of construction work on the Bonra project. And this letter is signed by the Honorable Minister, the Honorable Kweku Fori Siama, dated 21st November 2023. Says, I refer to your letter dated 2nd November 2023, addressed to Ashanti Port Services Limited, and copy the Ministry of the Ministry on the termination of the contract agreement with the APSL. Now the minister says that he's terminated the concession agreement. Okay. He hasn't come back to Parliament, and he continues doing his own thing with just more.
He's terminated which concession agreement?
The concession what Parliament approved.
Against which company?
Against Ashanti Port Services Limited, which is a consortium of Afun Quality and then the Koreans, the DSS, the Korea company.
So what happens to the shares bought by GPHA?
It says it's all terminated. Yeah, it's bizarre. Okay. It's bizarre.
Okay.
So the minister says that I refer to your letter dated 2nd November 2023, addressed to Ashanti Port Services Limited, APSL, and copy the ministry on the termination of the contract agreement with the APSL on the construction of Phase 1A of Boankraa Integrated Logistics Terminal Project. I write to confirm that the concession agreement between the Ghana Shippers Authority, acting on behalf of the Ministry of Transport, and the Ashanti Port Services Limited, APSL, has been terminated with effect from 5th August 2023.
5th August 2023.
Yeah. Then he continued.
Please hold on a minute. When was the payment to Jasmo made?
That was made earlier. It was.
When was the shares bought? The share certificate was issued with date.
That's the share certificate.
Which date was it
the
issued?
share certificate 3rd March 2023.
3rd March 2023. When did GPHA make the payment?
So, I'm trying to get the EcoBank payment details. Have that. So many documents.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Sorry, I know you have. Yes. You have scheduled how you're going to go about it, but also for our viewers, I need a clarification so that we'll be able to follow it properly.
So this is a payment to the EcoBank account of Jasmo, dated 26 September. Payment date 26 September 2022.
22.
Yes.
Okay. So the payment was made 2022 September.
Yes.
But the share certificate was issued when?
3rd March 2023.
3rd March 2023.
Yes.
And the contract was terminated when?
The minister says with effect from 5th August 2023.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, please go on.
Yeah.
But so Samuel, so your main contention is that the money was paid to the contractor.
Yes, to the contractor.
Jasmo.
Yes.
And you said there's something wrong.
And Jasmo.
For shares bought from.
Yes. The money should have been paid to Ashanti Ports. Okay. Not this company handpicked. And my checks at the PPA also confirmed that they did not engage the PPA in any way. They didn't follow the procurement laws. And indeed, when I continue reading this letter, you'll see the minister conceding that. It says, as the sector minister responsible for the project, I am requesting you to continue with the works, pending the resolution of the post-termination issues ongoing between the parties to avoid any delay of the project. As per the agreement, the Ghana Shippers Authority has taken over the project and its liabilities. In this regard, the outstanding certificates have accordingly been paid to you. That is to Jasmo. So now they are dealing with Jasmo. They've totally cut out Ashanti Port. Then this paragraph, very revealing. The ministry will ensure that Ghana Shippers takes the necessary processes to regularize your re-engagement. I count on your cooperation.
This is to which company?
This is to Jasmo.
And it's dated when?
It's dated 21st November 2023. Yes, to Jasmo.
It's dated when?
21st November 2023.
21st November 2023.
Yes.
But this company had received $33 million in 2022.
Yes. And they are now, the minister is now talking about regularizing the engagement with this company. Yes, the procurement.
And then getting them back.
Yes. And as we speak, there is no procurement. No procurement. The procurement laws of Ghana have not been respected.
That they wanted to strengthen the procurement. That's why they terminated it.
No, the termination is with Ashanti Port, not with Jasmo.
Not with Jasmo.
Not with Jasmo. As for Jasmo, they are still in the good books of the ministry.
But Jasmo is unknown to the parliament.
Yes, unknown to Parliament.
And you're saying that even the engagement of Jasmo is not gone through the public procurement processes.
Yes.
Although state funds are being used.
Yes. Shocking.
And the 33 million is supposed to be payment for shares.
Yes.
Acquired in the Ashanti company.
Yes. And yet
from GPH.
Yes, and yet Ashanti Port, they didn't see the money. They didn't see the money.
But the GPHA has been issued a share certificate.
Yes. And
but they paid for the money went to
just
a construction company.
Yes, because there was arm twisting. They were told. That's why they delayed in issuing the certificate. They didn't want to issue, but they threatened them, did a lot of arm twisting, and they reluctantly had to issue this, even though they didn't receive the money.
But why would they do that? No, why would they?
So they decided, based on what was going on, to petition the Attorney General.
Okay.
On the 19th of December 2023. And will you believe that since the 19th of December 2023, several letters to the Minister for Transport to respond to the Attorney General.
You mean the Attorney General has written to the Minister of Transport?
Yes. Based on this petition. Yes,
what's the petition about?
So the petition, Office of the Attorney General, addressed to Mr. Kwekwe Siama, the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Transport, Attention Chief Director. Petition, the Boankraa Integrated Logistics Terminal Build Project. This office is in receipt of a petition dated 20th November 2023 and subsequent letters dated 24th November 2023 and 5th December 2023 from Ashanti Port Services Limited, APSL, concessionaire of the Boankraa Integrated Logistics Terminal Project. APSL petitioned the Attorney General to, among others, A, investigate the unlawful interference of the Ministry of Transport in the execution of the project. B, address breaches of the concession agreement. C, review the actions of Vision Consult Limited, the independent consultant on the project, for transparency, adherence to contractual obligations, and conflict of interest. Because Ashanti Port is saying that Jasmo selected their own, consultant, and they are just inflating what they've done so far. The $36 million, the certificates they've raised, and the payment they've received should not be more than $4 million. Continue. C, review the actions of Vision Consult Limited, the independent consultant on the project, for transparency, adherence to contractual obligation, and conflict of interest. D, facilitate the appointment of an independent management and construction supervision team. E, ensure the restoration of the concession agreement to APSL. In the petition and letters under reference, APSL makes several allegations of wrongful and undue interference, including threats by the Ministry of Transport in the execution of the project, and improper conduct bordering on conflict of interest on the part of the independent consultant on the project, both of which have impaired APSL's ability to secure the funds needed to execute the project, despite its best efforts. According to APSL, Ghana Shippers Authority, grantor of the project, has unjustifiably terminated the concession agreement on the instructions of the Minister for Transport and unlawfully directed the contractor, Jasmo Company Limited, to proceed with construction without APSL's consent, in blatant disregard of mediation proceedings instituted by APSL in accordance with the terms of the concession agreement. Further, APSL claims that the Ministry of Transport has instructed the Ghana Ports Harbours Authority, a shareholder of APSL, not to engage with Afri-Exim Bank in respect of APSL's request for funds for the project, in a deliberate attempt to frustrate the efforts of APSL in that regard. APSL indicates that should the mediation fail, which is likely because GSA is unable to take a decision for the resolution of the dispute, it will have no option than to seek redress through international arbitration as provided under the concession agreement. And I have seen a board resolution. So APSL has initiated the process, and they are going to be demanded $3.6 billion.
No,
so let me continue.
Yes.
I am by this letter forwarding copies of this petition and letters referenced above to you for your comments and all documents in respect of the matter to enable this office respond appropriately to the petition. Your expeditious action will be much appreciated. Please accept the compliments of the Attorney General. And this is signed by Helena A. Ziu, Mrs., the Solicitor General for the Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Okay.
Up to now.
So this is dated when?
19th December 2023.
Okay.
And today is 19th April. Exactly.
You mean the ministry
4
hasn't
months.
responded?
They haven't responded.
How do you know?
I know, because there's even another reminder to them.
Who was it?
And then they also, when Jasmo followed up, Jasmo was told that they are still waiting for the ministry's response. But what even makes this matter murkier is that with this mess, disregard for Parliament's resolution and the internal wranglings going on, arbitration and all of that, threat of judgment debt, Cabinet goes to a retreat and decides that they are going to pump more money into this project after a presentation by the minister. And I've intercepted the cabinet memos. And I'm shocked. Instead of resolving the mess...
You know cabinet memos are secret.
Yes, they are secret, they are confidential, but...
They're always intercepted.
Yes, in the national interest, yes, you should always intercept these things. So
it's to prevent crime.
Yes.
Or expose any criminal conduct.
So 18th March 2024, signed by the Secretary to the Cabinet, Mercy Deborah Karikari. Completion of Boankraa Inland Port Project and Commission. Cabinet at its 9th retreat, held on Friday, 15th March 2024, received a presentation by the Minister for Finance on the prioritization of projects under construction and strategies for financing. Subsequent to the presentation, the Minister for Transport reported on the status of the Boankraa Inland Port Project and underlined the need for early completion of the project. Cabinet acknowledged the importance of completing the Boankraa Inland Port Project and directed as follows. 1. The Ghana Shippers Authority to contribute additional 10% of the Phase 1 project cost. The Ministry of Finance is to support the Ghana Shippers Authority to access a loan to support the project. So they are going to go for a loan.
Was the Attorney General at this cabinet meeting?
Good question. When the Attorney General's letter to the Minister for Transport has not been responded to.
How do you know it hasn't been responded?
It has not.
How do you know?
Oh, please.
Because
I've checked.
I've
checked. I've done my checks.
Because the letter that you give to me says that, from the Attorney General to Ashanti Port, says that I have been directed by the Attorney General to inform you that your petition is receiving the necessary attention. Yeah. So why do you decide that?
This is a standard response from...
But why do you decide that this is...
But the AG will respond to them on the receipt, upon the receipt of the...
How do you know the AG hasn't received?
Because I've checked, and they haven't. They haven't. They haven't.
Have the ombudsman.
And the letter continues, the cabinet memo continues. The Ministry of Transport is to ensure that the first phase of the project is completed by the 3rd quarter of this year for commissioning. The Ministry of Transport is to engage the Ministry of Finance if there are any financial gaps. I should be grateful if you will take the requisite action on the decision by cabinet. Then there's a second intercepted cabinet memo, also of 18 March 2024. They are still looking for financing for this project. Completion of Boankraa Inland Port Project and commission. Cabinet at this 9th retreat and commission, yes. Okay. They want to commission something this year in their stronghold, so they can't be bothered, So Cabinet at this 9th retreat held on Friday, 15 March 2024, received a presentation by the Minister for Finance on the prioritization of projects under construction and strategies for financing. Subsequent to the presentation, the Minister for Transport reported on the status of the Boankraa Inland Port Project and underlined the need for early completion of the project. Cabinet acknowledged the importance of completing the Boankraa Inland Port Project and directed as follows. 1. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and this is a very interesting one. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to continue to fund the project with 80% of its 2024 dividend from Meridian Port Services Limited, MPS. You remember what they said about MPS, the MPS deal? So 80% of the dividends is to go into this project. And all of these payments is going to go to Jasmine, not Ashanti Port.
Jasmine is the contractor.
The contractor.
Is he doing some work?
Ashanti Port, they said they have terminated.
Now, the Ministry of Transport is to ensure that the first phase of the project is completed by the 3rd quarter of this year for commission. The Ministry of Transport is to engage the Ministry of Finance if there's any financial gap. I should be grateful if you could take requisite action on the decision by Cabinet. Signed, Mercy Deborah Karikari, Secretary to the Cabinet. So, it is clear to me that the government is going to continue to deepen the illegalities, the worsening situation when it comes to corporate governance, and the disregard for our laws, and a clear parliamentary resolution on this matter. But you see, there are serious implications to the taxpayer. Now,
first of all, hold on a minute, Sam, let me find out something.
Ashanti Port is
with all the things you have read,
yes,
does it suggest that the termination of that agreement was not done subject to the advice of the AG?
Yes. Yes. The AG was totally left in the dark.
Because the concession agreement we went to Parliament had the AG's advice.
Yes.
Had the cabinet approval.
Yes.
Now, if for any reason there can be a basis for the termination of any agreement, but if for any reason there is a basis, shouldn't the AG
exactly
who provided advice for that concession agreement be in the know?
Exactly. And even the payments, because already this is a BOT, government should not have come in, reviewing that
varying it,
and asking GPHA to buy shares in Ashanti has implications on the taxpayer. You are causing financial loss. And the Attorney General was totally left out of this.
Recourse to the procurement
without recourse to the procurement law, recourse to the Attorney General,
with millions of dollars involved.
Yeah, you don't $330 million. You don't come back to Parliament to even amend the original resolution of the House, and you are proceeding. And Cabinet is giving them, the green light to go and spend more. 10% loan should be entered into by Shippers Authority, and then GPHA should also use 80% of the dividends from MPS. So more spending into this leaking basket, this rotting basket.
But is work going on at the site?
No. Work has been suspended for some time.
You've been there?
Because yes.
Are you asking if some work has been done?
Yeah.
No. I thought you said it's work going on.
Yeah, has been done and ongoing.
Oh yes, some work has been done, and that is what the Ashanti Port got their own evaluators to assess what has been done. They are saying it shouldn't have gone beyond $4 million.
The evaluation. But the certificates raised indicates $36 million.
Yes.
Okay.
And they are raising all kinds of issues about that. But those are matters that the technical people can.
So that's why they're asking for independent.
Yes. So you can see the breakdown of what Jasmine has done so far. So it's a mess, and you ask yourself, is there no elder in the room? This petition, I'm informed that they didn't only petition the Attorney General, they also petitioned the Office of the President, they petitioned the Office of the Vice President, they petitioned the Otumfo. And there's no action, and there's just more spending going to Jasmine. This Jasmine guys, just handpicked. There's a procurement law in Ghana. At least you can even sole source them or single source them.
Well,
but no recourse to the procurement laws. And they are still making payments. They are now going to go for a loan. Look, we have served notice that we will not support this attempt to go for a loan.
But if they come to Parliament,
we will not support it.
But if they come to Parliament for a loan for this project, Parliament ought to find out from them what happened to the agreement that Parliament itself approved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And why you haven't come back?
Yes.
Well,
and on what basis they did all those engagements that they
you wonder, what will these people get right? What will you get right?
Sami.
Come here, a lawless jungle.
A what?
This is like a jungle. This.